Welcome to my altar. And also, Christine apparently has to go to Trader Joe's, so we
Happy Halloween month. It's October.
Happy October, and I hope everyone. This is a sneak peek, by the way, of how my place looks. We also just recorded the Halloween episode just to like make you feel like we're really time traveling.
I know.
So expect this again on the Halloween episode. This little back room.
Yes, it's currently September, and we're how September, whatever, and we're recording the October listeners episode, which comes out the 1st of October, and we recorded the Halloween episode, which comes out the last of October. So we're bookending October today. There's a couple little, if you're on video, a couple little hints about what was going on, but we wore costumes and everything, so you got to tune back in.
We sure did. We had
costumes afterward to avoid spoilers.
We stripped ourselves so you wouldn't know.
That's Patreon content.
As.
Our stripping section is Patreon content.
Oh, no, well, wants that. I don't even want to pay for it, but thank you. No, we've got some spooky stories. A shout out to Eva. Thank you for reading these spooky stories. Also, if for some reason you are new here, welcome. And every first of the month, we put out a listeners episode where you can submit your own true crime and paranormal personal stories. You can do that on our website, and that's why we drink.com. We have a submission form there. And you could be entered into the next month's listeners episode
contest, where then we just talk about you for 20 minutes.
So or you never know what we're gonna say, unfortunately, to us.
Depends on your star sign, your name. There's a lot of things we could comment on, so
we really should put that in the submission form. Like,
you're right,
what's your star sign? How likely are we to actually cover your story today?
Just cover your bases now, because we'll get there. But yeah, so Eva said she found some Halloween-y stories for us. I'm very excited because while she was telling us this, she told us she just did a Trader Joe's run to get all their fall stuff, and since I am basically going to be having a child any day now, I feel like I need to stock up on some fall goodies. So after we record this, I'm gonna run to my Trader Joe's and stock up.
And I'm gonna panic the whole time, by the way, because spoiler alert, Halloween is a 2-parter episode.
Oh yeah.
Which means we haven't filmed the part 2 yet, and I'm very nervous the baby will be here before we record.
Let's try to do it tomorrow then. We'll just get it out of the way.
The baby's going to show up in 5 minutes. I can already tell. Okay.
I wish, but I don't think so.
Anyway, Christine.
Can I go first?
Yes, you can go. Yay! I wanted to also say happy Halloween. This is our first time I think we got to actually, it hasn't happened yet, but when our Halloween episode comes out, it's the first time we've actually had an episode come out on Halloween.
It's very exciting.
It's a very good way to end this spooky month. So happy spooky month. And I hope you have a great time. I'm so glad I
got to be here. I was really worried that I would go into labor last night, and then the Halloween episode, we'd have to wait another 7 years for it to come back on Halloween.
Something gnarly. Yeah. And I was also going to be like, Christine, if the baby shows up tonight before we record, you are putting your ass on FaceTime, and I'm telling you my story, and we're recording the whole thing.
I'll do it on some painkillers. It's fine. It'll be fun. We'll have a good time.
I don't care that there's an epidural in your spine. There was a ghost upstairs, and once again, it was a lady in a red dress. Can you be surprised, please?
I just turned the knob on the epidural, okay, keep it coming, please.
Crank it up. All right, yes, you can go first.
Yay! We have an even number this month, so I feel like it probably doesn't matter that much, but I'm gonna pull my last pregnancy privilege card here and ask.
Pregnancy privilege, I'm so over it. There's nothing but good times when you're pregnant. Nothing bad.
It's all feels so nice on your body always.
I know it.
Sleeping, great. Walking, great. Mm-hmm. Swelling, great. All
pushing
of it
a human out. I'm sure that's gonna be great.
Woo, that's the best part. Yeah. So thank you for letting me go first and take advantage once again of my massive privileges.
You're welcome.
This is from Kaylin, her, thank you, Kaylin. And it's called Halloween 2007, A Haunted Toddler and the Darkest Darkness I've Ever Felt.
Oh, shit.
Wow, what a title.
Talk about a title.
Woo! Okay, Kaylin, here we go. Hello, M. Christine's child, unnamed at the time of writing. Love that. Geo, Junie,
also
Mooney.
At the time of recording.
Also at the time of recording. Fair point. Junie, Mooney, and all other haunts, fruits, and vegetables. I'm writing to share a story that is not exactly my own, though I had a related experience. It's been on my mind to share since I started listening in 2016. Wait.
Ooh.
We didn't exist in 2016.
I think we were a twinkle in your eye, but I appreciate it.
That's amazing that you started listening before we even
I
started
knew we had
recording.
time travelers listening.
That's
I knew
amazing.
it. I knew it. I knew it.
Okay, we're teasing you a little bit. It was early 2017, so you were probably, but that's still amazing. Like if you were in there right when we started, because we were small potatoes.
It's very nice of you to still be here. You did not have to do that, and
Yeah,
I didn't expect it either.
Amazing that you're here all the way to meet my child, basically.
Oh my God, snaps to you.
Wow.
Look, Christine's having the baby, but you've been here this whole time.
You've been listening before we've been listening, which is amazing. Like a technological feat, I think. Okay, since I started listening in 2016, but for whatever reason, it never felt like the right time. Since Halloween's around the corner and I'm feeling all nostalgic, I thought it'd be fun to revisit a Halloween gone by, 2007 to be exact. Ooh. Shout out to my high school BFF Jay and her family for the proper spookiness of the story. In 2007, I was a sophomore in high school. I was also homeschooled, so you can imagine how cool I and my group of friends were. Oh, we planned a costume party on Halloween at my friend's house. There were 8 or 10 of us, and as underage homeschooled nerd parties tend to go, the festivities, probably Dance Dance Revolution and a MySpace photo shoot. This is my dream party, man. I was with you.
And maybe a wine cooler.
No.
Oh.
Nerdy kids like us didn't drink, We just ate a lot of candy.
It was a wine cooler. It didn't even count.
It did.
That's how you know I went to the real parties.
Yeah, I was like, maybe for cool kids, but I was definitely doing MySpace photo shoots and with like the Coca-Cola with the extra caffeine in it. Oh man!
Oh my God! What?
I know, party time.
No, I don't. Wait, what? There's a Coca-Cola with more caffeine?
So. Yeah.
Ugh, that just sounds
maybe
exactly
Pepsi
like
Max. I don't know what I'm thinking of.
That sounds exactly like something Coke.
I was not allowed to drink it, so it was kind of like my wine cooler, you know?
Aha, I see. That was like Surge soda for me.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to drink Mountain Dew, all that stuff. So Dance Dance Revolution and Mountain Dew. Oh my God, I was having a wild time. Okay. The festivities probably died down a little, pretty early. Eventually, we found ourselves sprawled out on the floor of the room above my friend's garage, costumes in various states of disrepair, telling ghost stories. I vividly remember turning off the lights, and one by one, each of my friends climbed up onto the treadmill in the corner of the room and aimed a flashlight at their chin. Goosebumps style to tell a tale. None of ours were particularly scary, being the good little youth group children we were. We were all a little bit lacking in life experience.
They were probably like, one time there was a bump. What?
The closet creaked open. My dog had to pee, so
I heard a sound. It was crazy.
It sounds pretty crazy. Anything with a flashlight pointed to your own face after a lot of Mountain Dew is like pretty wild. I'm not gonna lie. Before long, my friend Jay's mom came in to pick her up. Jay suggested, "Mom, why don't you tell the story about when Joe was a baby?" She says, not her brother's name, also redacted for privacy. At first, her mom was hesitant, but eventually agreed and obliged us on the treadmill stage, flashlight gleaming and all.
Ooh.
Miss N, a single mother, explained that she took night classes when Jay and Joe were little, her brother being 3 or 4 at the time. She said she would often sit at her kitchen table studying after putting the kids to bed. One such night, she said she remembers hearing a clattering sound like her toddler's toys being played with. She said she got up to scold him and put him back to bed, but when she approached his room, she saw him still asleep in his bed. She said she was confused but went back to work. A few minutes later, as she sat at the table, she saw one of Joe's toy trucks begin to roll slowly across the room, unassisted.
That's a firm pass, is what I call that. No, thank you.
Big yuck. You're like trying to study. You're like, I have flashcards out. Leave me alone.
It's like, I'm already miserable. I have
already
to do
suffering.
School.
Yeah. Of all times to be bothering me. Of course, this spooked her. She said at first she wasn't sure if she had fallen asleep at her books. Maybe she was having a stress dream. No, she realized the truck was rolling along, then back and forth as if being guided by a child's hand. At this point, she got up and put the toys away completely. After she had settled down again, studying away, she heard her front door open. She raced to the front door to see Joe wandering across the front yard toward the street. She yelled for him and hurried to catch him, but he was unresponsive, seemingly still asleep. She put him back to bed, deadbolted the door, which he had not historically been able to open, and went to bed herself, fairly terrified. The next morning, she was feeding Jay and Joe breakfast as usual, she told us, and Joe said something that stopped her in her tracks. "Mama, where's my friend?"
See ya. See ya.
Oh, no.
He left. He left.
No.
And you're about to, too.
And you are, too. I was about to say, bye.
At least I am. I don't know where you're going.
Yeah, you can stay here if you want. Woo. What friend? My friend from last night. We were all fairly dumbfounded and no one quite knew how to react. A real ghost story. I asked where she lived when these events had taken place. Same place we do now. My jaw dropped. Here's where my memories of the house come in. Oh boy, we got a little crossover.
Loving the layers.
Love it. You're a great storyteller, Caitlin. Probably 6 months earlier, my mom, little sister, and I had taken Jay home after a hang session. Jay was always coming to my house, often spending the night 2 or 3 nights in a row while we tortured my family, scream singing Rent in my room, but I'd never been invited to hers. When we dropped her off that day, her mom invited us inside. I remember the instant I walked inside, I felt nauseous. I didn't want to be rude, but I remember I was barely holding it together. I met her dogs, who were fairly nervous, tail between their legs, and said hello to her brother, in middle school at the time. I remember how it felt like dusk in the house as she walked me through to her room, though it had been daylight outside. My chest felt heavy, and along with the nausea, I knew I needed to make my exit pretty quickly. Even in my memory, the darkness of that hallway is tangible. My mom and sister also said their hellos and just as quickly their goodbyes, and we headed back to the car. As soon as we got in the car, my little sister said she was feeling sick. I turned to look at her, and my mom gasped because she said she too had been nauseous while in the house. As we talked about it, we discovered that all of us were feeling better. The heaviness in my chest had lifted too. All of us felt it, and other than myself, my family is not one to discuss or believe in paranormal occurrences. I wasn't even sure what to call the feeling at the time, but I knew it was bad news, and I was shocked I hadn't been alone in it. Needless to say, once I heard Miss N's story and connected those dots, I was freaked the hell out. I will never forget the chills I got when I realized the story had taken place at the same house where I felt some of the darkest energy I've ever felt in my life. Thankfully, they're all doing fine, and I never heard of any more paranormal occurrences happening to their family. Honestly, after that night, Jay seemed less eager to discuss it, and of course, I wanted to respect their wishes. But I think about it often, and every Halloween, part of me longs for the simplicity of the MySpace, LimeWire, Dance Dance Revolution days with that friend group, and maybe the genuinely good scare too. Hopefully, this story provided some goose cam fuel. Thank you both so much for the years of laughs and millennial commiseration, and I hope you and yours have a safe and spooky holiday.
That's so fun.
Kaylin, thank you. What a great story.
What a story. And I appreciate was a millennial commiseration.
Yeah.
I feel like all of us should end all of our letters like that.
Agreed.
If you were born like in the 1900s, which is what they're calling it now, by the way, yikes.
What?
They're saying that we were born in the 1900s.
We're so old.
The 20th century.
I mean, we were, right? Like, that's not...
I know, but it's just like, fuck these kids. Like,
oh, the kids are saying it. Well, then, yeah, I don't love it.
So, maybe we should just, if your birthday starts with a 19, then we'll just start calling ourselves millennial commiserations or whatever. Well, thank you so much. I have one. I have one story now and a few coming later.
Wow.
But this one, I know. This one is from Sydney, who uses she, her pronouns. Thank you for normalizing pronouns, Sydney. This title is Batman and Evil Robin Tried to Rob Me. I like how you got robbed by Robin.
I know. Evil Robin.
Also, I'm thinking about evil Batman, and it's definitely... she didn't say this Batman was evil, but I am thinking about the Batman I think is evil, and it was the one that walked past us during that ghost tour.
Oh, that was creepy. I forgot about that. Was it
not the most wild thing? When I was in town with Christine, we did a bunch of ghost tours, and one of them that we did was like near this one building that Christine did not
like it. I still don't like it. I don't like it.
And around the corner of the building, literally someone in not like your average like Spirit Halloween Batman outfit, but like Batman cosplay.
Like a full 6 foot plus tall man in like, the full cosplay.
Like leathered goods. Like he just walks out. He's not even looking at us, ignores us entirely, just turns the corner, walks the entire strip past us, and just keeps going.
And it was nighttime. Like it was like really creepy.
Nighttime, right into the middle of like what is considered one of the most haunted places in your area. And,
what the hell was that?
It was very odd and it was very jarring, and it wasn't supposed to be part of the tour or anything. So anyway,
and to clarify, this was like a 2 weeks ago or a week or two ago. This is like mid-September. There was not like a Halloween event or anything.
Right. Exactly.
It was really strange.
If you happen to be in the Kentucky area and you hear that there was a crime starring Batman at some point, I got him on video.
Well, Sydney, was this you? Maybe this was something involving Sydney. I hope not.
Sydney's about to be like, I literally am dating Batman who walks around Kentucky or something.
Well, good for you. He was nice and tall. From what I could tell.
So Sydney says, "Hey, I'm Christine, Eva, assorted animal pals, and incoming baby Schiefer.
Oh, hello.
Incoming.
Hello.
In honor of October, I wanted to share my Halloween horror story with you all. This is a long one, so let's crack into it, shall we? Yes.
Yep.
I was in 7th grade, and it was the first time I was home alone at night, and normally my older sister was there, but considering she was 16, who knows where she was? Fair enough.
She was playing Dance Dance Revolution and drinking Mountain Dew.
She was hanging out with Batman. Anyway, it was late, and I wandered downstairs to get a glass of water, wearing only an oversized t-shirt I use as pajamas. The staircase in my house lands almost directly in front of the front door, which has a little window about head high. And that night, as I came down the stairs, there were 2 people standing under our single dim porch light.
Nope.
One had a black ski mask on.
No.
And the other had a Batman mask.
No.
Forever ruining Batman for me, by the way, Sydney. Thank you so much.
Sydney's like, yeah, no shit, for me too.
I froze, and they seemed to freeze too, noticing me. Then, in a moment forever burned in my brain, they both lifted one hand and slowly waved at me in perfect synchronization.
Why?
Back and forth, back and forth. It was a normally friendly gesture that felt completely sinister when they did it. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, imagine someone looks like they're about to break into your house and they just go.
Instead of being like, oh shit, we gotta run, they're like, hello, we can
truly,
see you.
Like just like right outside your door, and they're about to fucking rob you. That's the creepiest thing ever. So it took a moment for me to process that I was standing pantless.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're also not wearing pants, which sucks.
Super sucks. Less than 6 feet away from 2 faceless, waving strangers with only a little barrier of wood between us. Yeah, I've thought about that. Like, have you ever just thought that, like, your door is literally just like 2 inches of material separating you from outside? Like,
I think about it every minute of every day. It's all I think about. It's
so freaky. It's like there's really nothing. It's like, I mean, I've heard like locksmiths and all that say like locks don't keep bad guys out. They keep honest people honest. It's so wild to think that like bad guys just think like there's only 2 inches between you and me that is like keeping me.
Like, why don't I want access to your personal life. Also, still lock your doors, okay? That doesn't mean don't lock your doors.
Just get steel ones.
At least the lazy robbers will leave you alone.
Bulletproof doors. In a sheer panic, I ran down the hallway into the kitchen, scooping up my phone and my dog on the way down to the basement.
Aww.
Sorry, but like, I get it. Like, I wouldn't know what to do either. I'd totally panic. But if this were a horror movie, I'd be like, the basement? What are you doing?
There's probably a door down there.
Oh, okay. My basement didn't have a door. That's why. Okay.
That's my guess anyway.
The back of our house is very exposed with big French doors and lots of big windows. It's lovely during the day, but at night it can feel like I'm living in a fishbowl. Yeah. So I ran downstairs and said, okay, good. Okay. The basement steps were just around the corner from the back door, and I huddled at the bottom before calling perhaps the least helpful people I could have at the moment, my parents, who were off at some fancy wine tasting getting shwasted. I was terrified of the strangers on my porch, but I was even more terrified of calling the police and having them be mad at me if it turned out that the masked strangers were there for some totally innocent reason. But then again, like,
that's what the fuck is there too.
But then again, like, what the fuck is their innocent reason? Like,
yeah, but like, it's just such a instant reaction of like, oh, well, I don't want to be like a worry. I don't want to upset everybody.
No, like anxiety is a very real thing. But then when you stop to think like, oh, like what if they're doing something innocent? It's like, name one thing that could be innocent in that.
They forgot to trick or treat on the right day. They are lost. They're confused about the day.
I thought Sydney was gonna say like I didn't want to call the police and be an inconvenience or a bother. And it's like, I think that's what she's saying. Been there. Yeah.
That is what she's saying. Like, I didn't want to waste their time if it was nothing.
As I cried into the phone to my mom trying to explain the situation, the phone crackled a few times and then cut out completely. The flat dial tone sounded exactly like the beginning of every horror movie right before the first person gets got. I thought, okay, they cut the phone lines, and my trusty hand-me-down Motorola Razr was currently plugged in next to my bed 2 floors above.
Oh no, when she said I grabbed my phone, I was hoping it was a cell phone.
Nope. Crud. I stood there for what felt like an hour, but was in reality, It was probably about 2 minutes debating whether to run back upstairs for my cell phone or stay put when all of a sudden someone began to pound furiously on our back door. The sound of their fists rattling the glass echoed through the otherwise quiet house, and I thought, well, I guess this is how I go. But Bailey, our golden retriever, aka the absolute worst guard dog ever known,
besides Geo,
perked her ears up and wandered to the basement steps towards our certain doom.
Bailey, no, come back.
Bailey. But then I heard it. Whoever was pounding on the door was saying my name. When I crawled up the steps and peeked my head around the corner, I saw my neighbor standing outside, one hand knocking and the other curled around his face as he peered into the bright living room. When he saw me tearfully looking up at him from the staircase, he yelled through the door, "Hey, your mom called me saying something about you being afraid of some people on the porch, but then couldn't get a hold of you." Jeez. Well, at least your mom was on top of it for that moment. I opened the door and told him what happened, and he took me over to his house to hang out with his kids until my parents got home, and he also checked the front porch, but the people weren't there anymore. From then on, my neighbor would be the person I called every time I was home alone and heard some... Can you imagine, like, just being the neighbor, and it's like, oh, now I have to go potentially risk myself? Like, what a hero.
Robbers on the porch? Yeah, I mean,
what
terrifying.
A hero. So when my parents got home... which now that I'm old enough to appreciate the sanctity of a good glass of red, I'm sure they walked out of that wine tasting cursing the fact that they had even created a kid to take them away from their fancy Cabernet. They tried to calm me down by explaining that the men were probably just trick-or-treaters.
No.
The town next to ours always celebrates Halloween the Friday before the actual day to avoid any school night complications. Ugh. Sorry. But it still freaks me out. My parents theorized that some kids had continued trick-or-treating down our block without realizing they had stepped over the town line. Although I doubt that theory because A, these people were big, not some twiggy high school punks, and B, our block is nowhere near the town line. My parents were insistent. I can pretty much guarantee
one was literally in a ski mask. That's not a costume, by the way.
That's not a costume. They literally waved to you and freaked you out. They didn't say trick or treat. They didn't ring the doorbell like they were going to trick or treat.
True. They were just standing there. Ew, you're right.
And also, like, they freaked out when you noticed them, which should have been the opposite of what happens.
Did they freak out? I thought they just waved.
They both froze that like they could see each other. Yeah. The dead phone line they explained by pointing out that the service was spotty in the basement and the wireless.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I agreed to that once they proved that up on the main floor they could still make a call. The fact that it was a cordless phone and therefore couldn't actually be cut was an excellent point too.
I was also like, wait, I guess then you'd have to get it fixed if it was actually cut. But yeah. Okay, fair point. But
also when she said I'm bringing the phone downstairs, I guess she wasn't bringing a long ass landline.
A cord, right?
So while I was still freaked out, I allowed them to convince me that perhaps the people on my porch really were trick-or-treaters gone astray. That was until a few days later when the local newspaper reported that there had been a string of home invasion burglaries in our neighborhood that week and the thieves were never caught. So sorry this was so long. I wanted to write in several listener tales over the years, including the story of the original owner of my house who attempted to bludgeon his wife with a meat cleaver in the main bedroom. But cases of writer's block always get in the way.
Well, you did a great job with this one.
Thank you for countless laughs and horrified gasps over the years. In a time of so much uncertainty, it feels good to settle down every Sunday with you two, who feel like old friends. Have a very spooky pre-Halloween season, but not so spooky that Batman and evil Robin try to rob you, Sydney.
I love that it's Batman. He's fine. And then Robin in a ski mask is like, he's certainly evil. There's nothing good about that one.
I can only guarantee that for you. Yes.
I'm telling you, there's something about a full-grown man dressed as Batman is very unsettling. And when I was little, I had a fear of Batman. And because I used to have this like recurring nightmare that Batman would walk into my room. When I was in my crib, I remember looking through my like crib slats and I'd have this recurring dream that Batman walked into my room with his cape.
Fun.
And it's not fun. It's a nightmare. I'm still scared of Batman.
I had that with Monster from the Muppets, the pink one with the orange nose.
Fun.
Yeah. Well, I always thought he would like come like dancing out of my closet. Really freaked me out.
I know. I was so scared of Batman as a kid. I didn't even speak English. I probably didn't even understand what the fuck was going on.
He's just a man with pointy ears? What's happening here?
A cape? This one is called Halloween Ouija Fun Uncovers the Story of the Woman Who Haunted My Childhood Home. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is from Kara. She, her. Thank you, Kara. Hi. Nope. It says, hey, hi, hello. Okay. So I talked to a ghost this one time. It was pretty cool. Not the only time I had an encounter, but certainly the only time it was shared with others. So some background. In 1998, my parents decided to buy a lot with a small house on it that had been unoccupied for a while to then knock the house down and build something for our family. The day before we're supposed to move in, a fire started in my dad's office that ultimately destroyed the entire inside of our house.
Oh, shit.
And about 80% of our belongings that we had already been storing in our new home. That's tragic.
Oh, my God.
Holy shit. I'm sorry. That's awful. Luckily, none of us were inside, despite the fact that my dad was supposed to be unpacking stuff, but had decided to go golfing instead. I bet he used that for the rest of their marriage, like,
I know.
the rest of their lives. Like, well, remember when I went golfing last time?
I know. He's like, I could save our lives.
I saved all of your lives.
You just don't know. You just don't know.
Some of the workers got minor injuries, but there was nothing severe. God, how scary. Coincidentally, or so we think, dun dun dun, there was a fire on our property about 40 years prior, and the father of the fire chief who worked on our house was the chief back then and had to put out that fire. So it's like a generational fire thing.
It feels like you're in a town where history repeats itself.
Cycles, yeah. As a piece of history, the current fire chief gave us the news clippings that reported on the previous fire that his father had worked on, which had included the murder of the woman of the house in addition to the fire, which was reportedly meant to destroy the remaining evidence. Additionally, based on the placement of the old house and our house, the location where each fire started is geographically in a very similar, if not the same place.
Oh.
Yikes. Moving on, we rebuilt our house and moved in about a year later. We had general understanding that someone had been previously murdered on our property, and so when bizarre things started to happen in the house, we would lightheartedly blame the ghost. My sister's room was right above my dad's office where the fire started, and she ended up with the brunt of the weird happenings. Doors getting stuck, bathroom hardware falling off. Jesus.
Can you imagine being that poor sibling who's like, can I please switch with somebody?
And everyone's like, she probably picked the room, like, I want this pretty room. And it's like,
I know.
Nice
well,
choice.
She's like, can we please share? And they're like, the last thing I want to do is share a room with someone who's like attached to ghosts upstairs.
Whose like faucets fall off and stuff. Like, no, you can keep that for yourself.
Yeah, you have fun with that.
Yeah, so bathroom hardware falling off, new lights not working, etc. One time my dad was at our kitchen counter, and when he reached for his water glass, the glass shattered before he even touched it.
See ya. I've never experienced that. I can't imagine how jarring that would be, but I've always, part of me, if I had to experience something, I would want it to be something that like unbelievable.
That like shocking.
Yeah.
Because you can't, if you literally didn't touch it, it's like, how do you even explain that?
We've covered that on so many stories before, and every time I'm like, that one I kind of can't, I have a hard time of believing.
Yeah, because the shattering is
no explanation. Yeah,
that one is super weird. Fast forward, I'm 12 or 13 and I'm hosting a Halloween slumber party with about 10 of my friends. Naturally, we decided to bring out the Ouija board while chilling in the basement. After we fucked around for a good few minutes, disturbing spirits and shit, I informed my guests that there was a ghost in the house and suggested we try to communicate with her. The conversation... Wait, I was there. It was my party. I was playing Dance Dance Revolution down the street with the other group of nerdy kids. Don't worry, we're all doing the same thing.
You were just playing Spin the Bottle with your Mountain Dew or
something.
With
me and my Mountain Dew and no boys, just me. The conversation goes as follows. Me, are you the ghost in this house? Ouija, yes. What is your name? S-E-R-E. For whatever reason, it stopped there.
S-E-R-E. Almost like it was going to spell Serena.
Oh, that's a good guess.
Also, I like how it's like, they said, is this the ghost here? And it said, yes. What if it said no? Like, no. This is not the ghost here. This is just the silly
This is the ghost somewhere else.
I'm just rolling by, you know.
I'm just a vagabond like Walt. S-E-R-E. How did you die? C-H-O-K-E. Choke. Then, how did you die? Okay, here's the real test. When my dad's water glass broke, was that you? H-I-T-I-T. I hit it.
That's fucking bananas.
That's wild.
That one I do not like. That's the one where I go, oh, I hate it. You know?
Cool. Good for you. Love it.
What? Oop. I don't like it.
I'm also a vagabond. I'm heading out of here.
I feel unsafe.
Then Kara says, oh my God, guys, she said she hit the glass. Gaggle of preteen girls shrieking at the top of our lungs. So we all run up from the basement, and my mom, who was concerned and pissed all the same, asked us what was wrong. I shared with her the story and asked her the name of the woman who had died in the fire. My mom guessed it was something like Mary Lou or something like that, but offered to grab the news clipping while we ate our dessert. Sidebar, my mom makes a bomb-ass mud pie every Halloween that she was famous for, but I digress. It's a very important detail. Thank you.
Yeah, don't be shy. Send the recipe. That's okay.
Send the pie. You send the recipe, send me the pie. I don't got time for that. When my mom returned, she walked slowly into the room, eyes glued to the news clipping and paler than I'd ever seen her. I eagerly asked her what was wrong, and she handed me the clipping to read and share with my friends. The woman's name was Serena.
Bada bing, bada boom, 1, 2, 3, oopity boppity. That's Serena right there.
Serena, and she had been strangled to death before the house was set on fire.
Oh, shit.
So, like, they didn't even know that. The kids didn't even know that.
Serena.
That's horrible.
That's awful. Also, it's very scary for the kids. Holy crap.
Yes, and also awful that this is like a real story that actually happened. Mm-hmm. It was alleged that she had been having an affair with the landscaper and that her husband had murdered her and set their bed on fire before going to work.
Oh my God.
Holy shit. To my knowledge, the case was never solved and there was not enough evidence to convict either of them. So as it turned out, the Ouija board fucking works, and I talked to the woman whose spirit was lingering in my childhood home. Luckily, we never had a negative interaction with Serena, and we continue to share the story with friends and family who claim they don't believe in ghosts. End of story. That is bad.
That's some goose cam right there.
You know, that I feel like adds some detail to when you're playing Ouija board and it like spells some nonsense.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's like trying to spell something and you just don't get it or it doesn't finish the word.
I'm so sorry, but my arms are so bumpy right now with
it's bad.
With this creepy story. No, that's exactly it. Whenever like you do a Ouija board and it just like spells nothing, it could totally be trying to finish. And
like half a word.
We've done it before where it allegedly was like a little kid and like it just didn't know how to spell. You know?
Okay. Em and I did a Ouija board recently. Fun fact. I know everyone's like, God damn it. But listen, we did.
Christine bought a Ouija board for her house and
get over it.
Are we surprised? No.
And the kid said his name was Lazarus, but he like spelled it kind of funny. And then we were like, that's weird. And he was having trouble spelling things. And we were like, how old are you? And it was like 4. And we were like, oh.
So sweet.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, until it's a demon. So
until it's like, I'm not Lazarus. I'm Lazarus of hell.
Okay, so here is our next story. This is from Shelby, who uses she, her pronouns. Thank you for normalizing pronoun, Shelby. And the title is My Great-Grandfather Was a Doctor for the Exorcist.
What?
Like for The Exorcist, the movie? Or
interesting.
Like for The Exorcist, not like an exorcist, you know?
Yeah.
We'll find. I don't know. We'll find out what she means. Hello, my 4-legged, 2-legged, and fruit friends. I wish it said 0-legged friends, but that's okay. My name is Shelby.
What about 8-legged for Skylar? Is anybody remembering Skylar?
Wait, yeah. It just keeps double or having, I guess. 8, 4, 2.
It's just, I mean, 0. It's fine. Like Skylar, I guess we'll get over it. The pain of being left out, but whatever.
You know, I bet Skylar thinks about you too, Christine. This sounds like a cry for help.
I miss Skylar.
And it's okay. Skylar misses you too, I'm sure. I don't. But I love your love for him.
Thank
so let's
you.
put it that way. So hello, all these legs and friends without legs. Okay.
Fantastic.
My name is Shelby, and boy, do I have a story for you. I was recently talking about your podcast with my grandmother when she just casually dropped these stories on me.
I love that. I love that our podcast started this.
Yeah, and I'm loving that your grandma like passed the vibe check. Like knew
1,000,000%.
Oh, that's the type of podcast we're working with. Like, I understand.
Step aside. I have something to add.
Exactly. So here are some of the stories, I guess. Many people know and have watched the 1973 movie The Exorcist, but what people do not know is that it was based on a real-life medical case from St. Louis, Missouri. The movie stars a 12-year-old girl, but in reality, in 1949, a 10-year-old boy was admitted to St. Louis University Hospital presenting very strange symptoms. Yes, Roland Doe or something, right?
Oh my God, yes.
Ronnie Mannheim, or I covered him.
Yes, you did.
At this time, my great-grandfather, Dr. Owen J. McNamee.
What a name.
McNamee, sorry. At this time, my great-grandfather, Dr. Owen J. McNamee, had worked as a physician in St. Louis for many years and was well known around town. And in the words of my lovely grandma, doctors did everything back then. He would deliver babies, make house calls, was certified to perform surgery, and even stitched up bullet holes if needed. Wow. In fact, my great-grandmother would be upset when he would come home at 1 or 2 in the morning only for him to inform her a bag was thrown over his head while headed to his car after his shift, and he had to stitch up bullet wounds in a member of the St. Louis crime family.
They're like, we need your help, but you can't look us in the eye.
But also, like, that's the most, like, Tea Time Tuesday bullshit. Like, every single one of you people is like, oh, my grandparents were involved with the gang, like, in, like, my hometown gang.
They'd be like, oh, yeah, my grandma invited the mob over for tea and got all their secrets. Anyway.
Every single Tea Time Tuesday, there's at least one person who is affiliated with the mob. And I'm like, what is wrong with all of our grandparents? So I guess this person, if you have not joined Patreon and been a part of Tea Time Tuesday, we're just getting the full story now, I guess. Yeah. Also affiliated with the mob. Being the gentlemen that they were, the crime family, by the way, the Giordano family always told him to apologize to Mrs. McNamee for us. Like, as in, like, we know we're taking her time away from you.
Her casserole's getting cold.
Yeah. So apologize to her for us.
That's so cute.
Well, shout out to that.
I mean, they're like shooting each other. That's not cute. But, you know, this part's cute.
But they still respect women, damn it. Okay?
To an extent, probably.
In 1949, my great-grandfather was working as a physician at all 3 Catholic hospitals in the area, St. Louis University Hospital, St. Mary's, and St. Anthony's. It was late in the year when a colleague of his asked if he was willing to consult on an unusually presenting case of a 10-year-old boy.
Oh, boy.
And when he initially walked into the patient's room, he was surprised to see a swarm of doctors, nurses, priests, and worried parents surrounding a young boy with sandy blonde hair and blue eyes. The boy
thought it was going to say a swarm of flies.
I know, me too.
I was like, not the flies.
I thought for sure it was going to be flies. So the boy looked slightly malnourished and pale, but seemed normal. And he watched as other physicians asked questions, took vitals, and conferred with others. And it was only when a priest approached did the boy recoil, as if stung, and avoid the cross hanging from the man's neck. The boy then opened his mouth to speak, and a deep, unnatural voice came out speaking in Latin.
Ugh.
And the boy seemed to be possessed. Was. Over the course of multiple months, my grandfather saw things that he could not explain, and the boy's symptoms seemed to be getting more intense. The boy would originally flip between his true personality and the darker demonic one, and he seemed young and concerned one moment and then went stone cold and eerily still the next. But soon it seemed he was stuck in the darker personality. The boy would hiss and spit at the priests, and holy water seemed to burn his skin. My great-grandfather once witnessed the seemingly tiny boy punch one of them in the face and break his nose.
Oh my God.
And during this time, the priests would try to complete exorcisms while the boy screamed and taunted them. While the priests were trying from one angle, my great-grandfather and the other physicians were trying from another. They tried different tests, took x-rays, and tried to keep weight on the boy, as it seemed he was wasting away from not eating.
Oh.
One memory that my grandmother told me truly stuck out was when the boy was being transferred to a different area in the hospital, and all the crosses on the walls turned upside down as his bed rolled past them.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Who would leave that little detail out in a movie? Because it'd be so perfect. Why would you leave it out?
I haven't seen it, as you know.
Well, I mean, I've never seen that in any demon movie. Like, someone should be taking advantage of that piece of information.
I feel like I've seen that. The crosses turn upside down.
But not as you're on a gurney going through the hall and they're going with you.
You're right.
That's synchronized as far as I'm concerned.
Synchronized demonic activity.
Synchronized crosses. So he also was walking past the patient's room at one point and glanced in only to see the boy levitating off the bed as he walked past. Okay. I like that your grandpa was in like, oh, wrong room, and just kept walking. It's
not my place.
Not that's above my pay grade.
Not here, not now. And I'm a doctor, so I probably get paid pretty damn well.
But still above my pay grade. I could be,
Bill
I don't
Gates.
know. Jeff Bezos. And if I saw someone floating, I'd be like, that's above my pay grade. I'm not here for that. After many months of testing the boy to the best of their ability and many exorcisms, the boy mysteriously just got better. The entourage of priests, nurse, and doctors walked in one morning and the boy was just strangely fine as if nothing had happened. Apparently he looked thin and slightly tired, but the weight of being in the room with the other being was gone. After the case ended, my great-grandfather said that wing of the hospital always felt strange and weird things continued to happen afterwards. Not quite as crazy as a possession, but it felt dark and crosses would still sometimes be found hanging in the wrong direction.
Don't love that. I really don't.
Because of this, the wing was rarely used, and I think it was eventually torn down. Good, because I was about to say, if you literally have to go to that hospital, like, something's floating around looking for a new body, it seems.
New host.
I'm glad that it's torn down. All right, now imagine how shocked I was when my grandma just casually mentioned that my great-grandfather was a doctor for The Exorcist over Tuesday night BLTs. I had to pump her for more information. I know you like to end things on a good note, so here's one to lighten the mood. My great-grandmother, the lovely Mrs. McNamee in the story above, was never one to be upstaged by her husband and was certainly no delicate flower. She opened and ran the first flight school in St. Louis and flew with Amelia Earhart I'm sorry. Your grandparents were hustlers, just saying. Like, your grandpa worked all 3 hospitals.
Wow.
He was helping the mob. He was well trusted enough to be on the exorcism case. And now your grandma's just casually flying around with Amelia Earhart at her own flight school. Are you fucking kidding me? She was a model for Heavily Milk, and she raised 5 girls.
Hell yeah.
Dairy model. That's so fun.
I am obsessed with the milk model.
I would like to be a milk model for Ben and Jerry's. What do we think about this dairy model situation? It also seems like being a badass in life has carried over into the afterlife for her because she likes to come visit and check up on us from time to time. When I was maybe around 3 or 4, my mother and I were playing in my room when I asked Mommy, who's that lady behind you? My mom, behind being the voodoo lady she is, had already talked to a psychic about my sister and I, and she told her that both me and my sister could see spirits. She informed her that most are not harmful, but they didn't come around as much as people age because they become scared of them. Interesting.
Whoa.
With this in mind, my mom asked me to describe the lady. I said she had short brown hair, was wearing a pink suit, and a funny little hat. What she informed me later was that was my great-grandmother, who was buried in a light pink pantsuit and a pink pillbox hat.
Aww.
Apparently, there have been other instances of her coming to check in, but I like to think that she's off flying her planes and just swings by every once in a while.
Aww.
I just had to share all of that for you. I love your podcast, and I'm forever grateful that it kept me company during a long quarantine. Congrats on the baby, Christine, and congrats to Em for all the yummy Tony Chocolonely. I like that we both get something to be thankful for. Much love for me and all my 4-legged friends, Shelby.
Wow. Wow.
Wowee.
What a story.
Yeah, well done. Also, everyone in your family sounds so cool.
Damn. You should write a book, Shelby.
Like, your grandma, in theory,
or great-grandma, right?
Great-grandma. She literally has the connect to Amelia Earhart's ghost. She can be like, where the fuck are you? You know?
Valid. Get that Ouija board out from Kara.
Get the Ouija board out. Tell her, bring your girl Amelia over. We're all going to have a chat, you know?
Yeah, Kara has a Ouija board.
Did they recently find her?
There was another
break in the case.
Clue or I don't think that they solved it though.
Shelby, get your grandma on the phone.
Yeah.
On the horn.
On the horn. Wow, what a tale. Holy crap. Wowza. Well, good for your grandma for just being like, oh yeah, haunted stories.
Crime stories. I didn't know you wanted one of those. Let me just whip one of many out.
Eat your BLT and listen up.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay, so this is from Samantha. Let's see. Sam. Sorry. She, her, hers. Thank you, Sam. Sam and Miss Aggie, who seems to be the world's cutest little cat. Oh my gosh, what a babe. Excuse me. Sorry, there are photos attached. So this is from Sam. Sam. Sorry. Sam, she, her, hers. Thank you, Sam. Hi, I'm Christine and Eva. I hope you are all doing well. I just listened to episode 230 where M tells the story of Agnes Sampson, aka the wise wife of Keith. And I had to write in to let you know the story of my cat, Aggie.
I was literally going to ask if Aggie and Agnes have something in common.
I forgot.
That's so fun.
Did I tell you the subject of the email? I don't think I did.
No.
It's my haunted necklace? ?
Oh, not what I was expecting.
No, I know. I was
my haunted kitty cat?
Relevant?
Okay.
We'll find out. I found Miss Aggie on the side of the road living under cars by my apartment in New York. She's a tiny black cat, about 7 pounds, and she has extremely witchy vibes. Just like moonshine and shadow. Her vampire fangs stick out of her mouth when she sleeps. Oh my god,
that's very
so
moonshine.
Cute. And her official adoption date and birthday is Halloween. See attached pic. I wanted to name her something witchy and settled on Aggie. 1 part for Agatha Christie, 1 part for Aggie Cromwell from Halloween Town.
Love it.
I know, 1 part for Agnes Waterhouse, aka Mother Waterhouse, the first woman executed for witchcraft in England in 1566. Wow, this is quite a name.
Loving that you just had this like hoard of knowledge about Agatha's or Agnes's.
Did you know that Agnes was, when Blaze and I were talking about names, one of the names I really liked was Agnes because, I told you this already, because of I think
you literally told me during the Agnes episode.
That was when it was. You're totally right. I've already talked about this. Okay. So, Agnes. Yes. Agnes Waterhouse. Blah, blah, blah. And 1 part for Black Aggie, a folkloric and purportedly haunted statue of a draped, melancholy, and mysterious woman seated at the Agnes family plot in Pikesville, Maryland.
Okay.
What? Did you just go on Wikipedia and click like list of Agneses or
I know what happened there.
Wow.
Also, like, why haven't we covered Agatha Harkness from WandaVision? That's I feel like
sorry, that's not part of the tale.
Catherine Hahn. Everyone's cat should be named after Catherine Hahn.
I guess so. Whoever that is. I attached another photo. She is quite scary. Yes, this statue, I can tell you right now, is very scary looking. It's like a cloaked figure. I'm telling you.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. After this week's episode, I'm happy to tack on another meeting to my cat's name for Miss Agnes Sampson. Although her body is small, I promise she can carry the legacy of these women well.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Now I want to name my baby Agnes again. Moving into my...
Go ahead.
Moving into my personal story, I grew up in the suburbs of Boston by Salem, Mass. That sounds about right. My teachers in high school always found excuses for us to take field trips to Salem. Oh, I'm so jealous. And one particular instance, my junior year, involved my art class visiting the Peabody Art Museum. I've always loved Salem, so of course I jumped at the opportunity to go again, especially because we were scheduled to go the week before Halloween. I was walking down the street with a friend admiring Salem in the throes of Halloween when we stumbled on a woman selling necklaces. She had a huge setup of different types, but this beautiful Capricorn necklace caught my eye. Parentheses, let's go Caps.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'll give it to you.
Also, side note, I'm loving that, like, I mean, obviously, as a teacher in Salem, I also would be doing everything for a field trip at all turns. So,
yeah.
I get it.
I do too, and I'm like, wow, I don't think my teachers at the time would have done that for me, but I wish I had that kind of attitude from, more teachers. That's such a fun...
A lot of my teachers were, like, they were... like ex-military, and they always wanted to take us to battlefields, and I was like, okay, but like other people get to go to Salem.
Yeah. I mean, we had to go to like the zoo, so I guess. Womp womp. It was a small pendant on a simple black string. I bought the necklace off the woman and she took my money with a small smile and a wink. I put it on immediately. When my friend and I rounded the corner to go back, the woman and her setup had vanished.
What? Also, I'm loving that she winked when she gave it to you. Like, you know what to do with this. Like,
put it on.
Around your neck.
Wear it to show other people.
I don't have to. You do the rest. But okay, so creepy that she's just gone. So creepy. Yikes.
And she says, it wasn't a small table. It was a full metal contraption with hundreds of jewelry pieces that stretched at least 10 feet that had somehow dissipated. What
shit.
The fuck? Confused, we looked around a few streets. Also, she had a friend with her, so like clearly, friend was probably like, I saw that too. Like it was right here, yeah. Confused, we looked around a few streets on either side and found nothing. I apologized to the friend and said I must have misremembered, but we quickly forgot about it and went on with the trip. Fast forward to months later, I still haven't taken the necklace off. I loved that necklace. I unapologetically wore it with everything and literally planned outfits around it. I even traveled to 3 different countries with it. One day, the necklace disappeared.
Oh, well, I'm not really surprised by that. I feel like that had to happen, right? Like
I said it so dramatically, but I knew you were going to be like, well, yeah.
I feel like there was something magical about the necklace, like, oh, it's only meant to be with you a certain amount of time.
For a certain period of time.
It will know when it's meant to move on to someone else, something else.
Wink. You know. I unapologetically, blah, blah, 3 different countries. One day, the necklace disappeared. I couldn't find it anywhere, and I ripped apart my house and traced my steps through school, work, my car, anything. That's sad. In those few weeks, I did not have the necklace. I felt naked, and weirdly, I felt followed.
Oh, I don't like that.
Doors would slam behind me wherever I went with no one around. Things kept banging in my closet late at night, always after midnight, and when I checked them out, nothing had fallen off the hangers or moved. My dog refused to hang around me, and I got extremely sick. Like never in school, doctors were confused, ravaged my immune system, and triggered my horrible genetic anxiety and depression to rear their ugly heads type of sick.
Jeez.
After months and months of this, I finally was in a deep, immobilizing sleep when something in me went on high alert. Out of my sleep, I shot straight up in bed like my waist was on a hinge and grabbed my hand out into the dark and snatched my missing necklace out of thin air.
What?
What?
That's magic.
Oh my God.
Like just grabbed your out of the void.
While you were sleeping.
That's
I don't know. Like
that. Okay, Christine, lay it on me. What's the science behind that one?
Let's keep going. I was frozen like that until I fully woke up and realized what had just happened. Weirdly, I wasn't scared though. I remember putting the necklace on the bedside table and falling back asleep. In the morning, I looked over and my necklace was there, proving I hadn't dreamt it. And most insanely, all of the freaky hauntings and presences that had been following me vanished. I got better and never knew why I'd been sick, and everything went back to normal. Everyone around me was freaked out by the necklace story, but in retelling it, I always felt calm about it. I now believe it was somehow protecting me in a weird way and came into my life when I needed it. I still have it in a little... Oh, I have goose cam. I still have it in a little box that sits on my dresser and always will think of that woman from Salem who disappeared after she sold it to me. Lots of love to you and yours, Sam and Miss Aggie.
Oh, I feel like this little, I'm going to call her a little witch, this little necklace sales lady. I feel like she just kind of flew into the necklace and you keep her tight now.
Yeah, she winked and like poof
she
into
was
a little
like,
pendant.
I'll see you later.
So do you think I'll be on your chest? Oh God.
Also, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, do you think that like she lost the necklace by accident and like actually lost it, and that's why
I don't know. It feels like she like pulled it out of like a manifestation or something.
No, I mean like when she lost it, like when it disappeared.
I don't know. I feel like I feel like items leave on purpose sometimes. I feel like it maybe, but I don't know what the reason would have been. Yeah, I don't know what the reason would be. Especially if like she felt like weird without it. It's like it wasn't supposed to. Like maybe someone else took it, or
like I'm thinking, what if she dropped it or lost it, and that's when the protection went away, and it had to like find its way back to her to like bring back the.
That's a very precious story. Maybe.
I don't know.
I do like that when she pulled it out of like whatever dimension she did. I like that she felt calm because that like validates the time where like I've seen things standing at the foot of the bed and I knew they were nice because I weirdly didn't feel calm. It's like they like put that veil over you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which always freaks me out because if that's true, then all the times that I've felt like
that you're scared,
they intentionally didn't want to put the veil over you.
That's what I think of every time. I'm like, then the opposite must be true.
Yeah. Wow. I don't know. That really blows my mind. That's a weird one.
That's freaky.
I got nothing. Except that's fucking weird.
It's freaky.
What I wonder what the third party perspective would have been on that. Like would you just see her like do this and then all of a sudden pull back and now there's a necklace in her hand? Like,
was it hanging there for 10 minutes before she was like,
I know,
wait.
like where did it go? Like what happened? Like did it float in from like, was it like the Chef Boyardee commercial where it rolled all the way back to you? And
it was a meatball. Yeah. I don't know. That is freaky though.
That's super weird. Well, thank you for that story. Holy crap. That was Sam?
Let me make sure I got... Yeah, it was Sam, yes. And Aggie.
Right. Well, this is our last story. This is a shorty, but this is from Lauren, who uses she, her pronouns. Thank you for normalizing pronouns, Lauren. And the subject line is My Creepy Kid and a Halloween Decoration.
Ooh, creepy kid,
So,
creepy kid.
Love a good creepy kid until yours is born.
Until Ems has to deal with it in person, yeah.
I like them from afar, and you're about to really like shove it in my face all the time. I can already tell. So Lauren says, last Halloween I was listening to And That's Why We Drink. By the way, I always love when the messages don't say hi. Like, and that's not even me being sarcastic. I think it's like such a good writer's choice.
Fun like twist.
It's like brass tacks, my friend. Let's get the fuck
it's
into
like,
this.
You know I like the show. Don't make me say it.
It immediately makes me think that Lauren is like a rough and tough New Yorker. It's like, yeah. Enough with the casualties. Enough with the niceness. Okay, last Halloween I was listening to And That's Why I Drink while working from home, per usual, and you guys had mentioned how kids are more sensitive to spirits. I had already known that, but it just feels relevant for what happened immediately after. I saw my husband pulling into the driveway with my 3-year-old, so I turned off the podcast. Rude. That your husband gets priority?
We were talking.
Excuse you. So I turned off the podcast because she's too little to hear all the creepy stuff you talk about. Okay,
fine.
Just, you know what? Just put the kid in another room and
just
listen
guilt
to us.
me if you must.
When she walked into the house, she immediately walked past me and directly to the big window that faces the woods. I followed her over and crouched down to see what she was looking at, since it was very odd that she didn't come in and give me a hug hello after being at daycare all day. She then pointed into the woods and said, Halloween decoration.
Oh no. I don't like that.
Which makes me think it's either a vampire or a skeleton or a bat or a witch.
Something like a dead ghost, body or something, or skeleton.
A coffin. Yeah, something that you would find at Spirit Halloween. I don't have any Halloween decorations, nor do we have any neighbors. So she was literally just pointing out at the trees. See, at this point, if she said Christmas decoration, I'd be like, she's onto something. That's a tree.
Right.
Good job.
I guess maybe if it's a spooky looking tree.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. That's just me.
Maybe if it gets wings and takes flight at night or something. That would be
like those famous flying Halloween trees that you see at Spirit Halloween.
Okay, but Spirit, TM. Because if you create a flying tree, I'd like to be in on that. I said at first, no, it's just the woods, but she insisted there was a creepy face.
Oh.
And kept pointing and saying right there. At this point, I didn't want to dismiss the fact that she obviously was perceiving something in the woods to look like a Halloween decoration, but I also didn't want her to be scared, so I said, oh yeah, it's a silly face. She then turned to me, looked me dead in the eyes, and she said, no. And then she walked away and never mentioned it again.
What?
The end.
That's it?
Also not even a goodbye from Lauren. That's a New Yorker right there.
Does it say the end?
No, it just stops.
I was like, wow.
It just says she walked away and never mentioned it again.
Oh my
And then
God.
Lauren was like off to the L line or something. So I don't
I like how Lauren clearly lives in the woods with no neighbors and you're still on this like New York kick. Like clearly
she's Fran Drescher and I'll accept nothing less.
Wow.
So.
But like I love that. See, that's the kind of thing that's the kind of parent I would like to be, of like, oh, I want to acknowledge that you're afraid or that you see something.
Yeah.
And then like make sure you feel believed, right? Like that I'm not going to dismiss your fears. But also that's such a fine line to walk, because you're like, you don't want to be like, yes, there's a terrifying demon there. You know what I mean?
Right. Like either you say no and you're invalidating the experience, or you say yes and you're confirming what they're seeing and keeping them open-minded.
And you don't even know what it is. It's like, holy shit.
Well, you did a great job, Lauren. I don't know what I would have done in that situation. So it's just a shame you've got a creepy little kid. That's all.
It's just, what a shame. I mean, it sounds like she was pretty tough, right? She's like, no. It's not a funny face.
She was like, she has the same kind of attitude you do by not saying hi and goodbye in your letter. She's just like, she was like, are you fucking with me right now? Like, this is,
like, Mom, what is silly about this fucking demon face?
Like, Mom, we've got bigger fish to fry. Don't you know this? Come on.
Wow.
Come on. Chop, chop, chop.
That's
By the
creepy.
way, love that you can already kind of, in that very small way, and I've already decided, like, you're both your personalities. But I love how you're both similar in that way of just like, no, like, I'm not here. No pleasantries. It's a scary fucking body. It's a scary face, creepy face.
Stop calling it silly. There's nothing silly about it. It's a Halloween decoration.
Also, I like to think she'll bring that out as a teenager too, of like, Mom, get with the times. It's not silly. Like, it's not creepy, or it's not it's not as silly as you want it to be. Get with the times.
I would be afraid if my kid looked outside in the woods and said Halloween decoration. I'd be like, no, nah.
I wouldn't be super scared right away, but the second that I couldn't see something and my baby was like so adamant about
the
it,
second
I'd
she
be
said it was
really
a creepy
nervous.
face Halloween decoration, I'd be
Yeah,
like,
see ya.
well, because like if one thing I could be like, oh, trees with no leaves. Maybe at daycare they were drawing trees. Like who knows? But the face thing I can't explain. Like no.
Yeah, Lauren, you handled that like a champ because I definitely don't know what I would have done.
I would have called M and been like, deal with this.
Oh, and then I would have said, call Lauren. Like, what are you wasting
Lauren
my time
doesn't answer my calls, remember?
Oh, well, thank you everyone who wrote in for October.
Wow.
It's spooky season. We're finally we get to
Holy
ring it
crap.
in now. So I hope that your next 31 days are full of fear and fright, but in a very happy,
In the
pleasant,
best
expected, wanted way.
Also candy, also pumpkin snacks, also, whatever
Spooky
your heart
movies.
desires. Yeah.
Costumes if you like.
No
Arts and crafts
Batman.
if you like. No robbing Batman.
No.
I think you're just gonna have. I'm gonna manifest for everyone that our October is gonna be pretty great. And at the beginning of this year, Christine, when I said this could be the decade where we meet our kids, now I can officially say this could be the month we meet your kid.
It should be.
Big jump. Big jump.
It will be, I guess, unless this comes out and I've had a kid within the 2.5 days that are remaining in September as we record this, which are also possible. But odds are, I think at this point, it's October.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Well, thank you, everyone. Hope you have a very spooky season. And
that's
why
we
drink.